Well, we just got the Bissell TurboClean model 3548 just delivered to our door. This is very similar to the Crosswave HF3. So before I start this video, let me provide a comparison to the Crosswave HF3 and provide a little background. These are the new slim line of mop vacs that's becoming more popular. Bissell started the mop vac revolution with the corded Crosswave. Bissell then came out with the cordless Crosswave, but it was large and bulky. The new slimmer Crosswaves are lighter and easier to grab and go. Now a little backstory. 1.5 years ago, Bissell introduced the TurboClean 3548 and PowerClean model in the Canadian and Australian market. Last fall, Bissell bought TurboClean to the USA through QVC, Amazon, and through eBay website. About the same time, Bissell decided to merge the TurboClean 3548 under the Crosswave family as the HF3. In comparing the Crosswave HF3 to the TurboClean 3548, there are some notable differences. The Crosswave HF3 does lack some of the features of 3548. Also, they share some different part numbers. The HF3 does not include the ability to have a vacuum-only mode. The Crosswave HF3 does not have built-in attachment points on the base for an extra brush roller and filter. Because the Crosswave HF3 does not give you an extra brush roller and filter that comes standard with the TurboClean 3548. To have an extra dry brush roller and filter readily available can be very handy, as you do not have to wait for your current brush roller filter to dry out after cleaning. The Crosswave HF3's warranty is 1 year, whereas the 3548 warranty is for 1.5 years. Finally, the current price of the TurboClean 3548 is at around $99, whereas the HF3 is at $199. I forgot to mention that the handle is slightly designed different, a little bit different layout, but that's about it between the difference between the HF3 versus the TurboClean. Now I don't know which unit came out first, but to me it looks like 3548 has more features and more options than the HF3. So just bear that in mind. These new mop vacs use brush rollers. The brush roller's advantage over the older generation vacs is being able to conform and grab objects, making it much more effective in cleaning. Also, by using a brush roller and a real squeegee, creates a seal in front of the suction tube, creating a compact chamber, so we're able to use a smaller vacuum motor. Since the vacuum area is in a sealed chamber, this allows the inlet slot to be much larger, allowing larger debris to be swept up. On the other hand, the older technology had to have a large vacuum motor to pull in debris from the front open space in front of the vacuum. A smaller opening is needed to create a stronger vacuum pull, so large debris will not fit into the vacuum suction area. Now, this is also somewhat of an advantage to the older technology, is that since they're relying on vacuum power to pull in debris, it's able to pull in debris that's outside of the brush roller immediate area, since the brush roller is the only place where it actually grabs the debris and pulls it into the vacuum. One disadvantage of brush roller is that they are not that effective on carpeting. They don't have the brush or beater bar to help beat up the debris that's embedded into the fibers of the carpet and allow it to be sucked up into the vacuum. So in essence, the older technology, brush and beater bar, does a much better job on carpeting. Now onto the review of the TurboClean 3548. So today we're going to do unboxing Bissell TurboClean 3548. This model, the TurboClean, is marketed through Amazon or through QVC only, so you cannot buy it from Bissell affiliated stores. Bissell has a different version that they came out. It's called the Crosswave HF3, which is very similar to this. In fact, they almost exactly look the same. Part number on like the brush roller are different, so there's slight variations to it. And basically, the variation is, I think TurboClean is a better unit. Number one, it comes with a longer warranty. It's 18-month warranty. And with this TurboClean, you have the ability to not have the sprayer on constantly like the HF3, so you could actually use it as a dry vacuum, or you could turn off this. You have the ability to turn off the sprayer so you could dry your floor better. So this is project registration, kind of a manual. Let's see if this, yeah, it's mostly pictures, so it's pretty straightforward. I'll give you a trial ice solution. Hard floor sanitize. I went on Amazon and already pre-ordered the PET all surface. So they give you a filter, AC adapter, That's for the base. The base also charges the unit. This is the brush roller. This is the unit itself. Handle. I think the only assembly on this is you just stick the handle into the unit. This is the charging base. It's a cleaning base also. So it charges through the port up here as you slide the vacuum mop into it. Then you got a stand here for a spare filter in the brush roller. This is your clean out brush. Take the brush roller off. If you got any clouds, you clean it off. And a strainer too. So when you're pouring dirty tank into your sink, you can strain out the gritty stuff. I bought this thing, Bissell store on eBay. What's good about one from eBay is that there's no shipping, and I get it sooner since the Bissell warehouse is in my... I got this the next 2 days later. So as you can see, it already comes with the brush roller and a filter installed. So basically, you got the spare unit to hold it. I think it goes. This thing just slides down just like this, and it's as soon as you slide it on, it's already charging. So now the spare filter, I guess, goes there. All we have to do is just push this on, make sure this is facing the right direction. It's got a little detent here until you hear the click. Bunny rabbit. Bunny rabbits out there.
They think, what are you doing?
And this thing just simply plugs into the outlet, plugs into the back of the unit. And if we look up here, you can see it's charging. Okay, so this is unboxing. What I'll do is that we'll do some testing on it as far as ability to pick up as a vacuum, and then naturally ability to wash your floor. Now we have the Bissell steam vac, which is fine, but what's nice about this type of a vacuum is that you see this big opening here? This has the sponge rollers, has the ability to pick up big chunks because there's nothing to impede it. So you got almost an inch of chunk space to pick up, so which is good. So we gotta get this charged up first before you can use it. So we'll be back in a few hours. It takes about a few hours to charge it.
What's she's doing there?
Okay, it's fully charged up. This is the handle, and then this is the power button, so click it on. So you can see we got 3 bars, so it's fully charged. This is how we control the water, so we can have through it goes through the different modes. Little water, lot of water, or vacuum only mode. So as you click this thing through, it goes through the different modes. And then these are just indicators that your water filter is clogged, you're out of solution, or your brush roller is stuck. But let me just show you here. If your dirty tank is full, okay, this whole thing turns red. So you don't have to rely on the little LED indicator here. The whole handle turns red, which is a nice feature. Because sometimes those little LED indicators are kind of hard to see. Now when you turn the power off, it's going to run for a few seconds. That's to get all the debris and water that's down here up into the dirty tank. So let's take this apart and see how easy it is. There's nothing on the back. In the front, this is your clean solution. So you push it down and pull it forward. That's all it is to it. Unfortunately, you have to hold it like this to fill it up. So you fill up to the water line, and then once you reach the water line, you fill up the rest to the formula line. On the HF3, they corrected that by having fill up on top. So you can hold it like this and fill up water and then the solution. So this is kind of awkward, but it works, so no big deal. Just lift the flap. Snaps back in. I already showed you this guy here. This is your max line. So this thing you just grip here. This is your filter. They give you a second filter too. This you rinse out naturally. This is your sensors here for the water level. Okay. This is your filter. So you got to, rinse out the filter too between usage. And then it's got a pre-filter here too, which is a foam filter that just pops out. You could clean. Pushes back in. This goes back in. So pretty straightforward. I mean, you don't need instructions for that. This one here, you got 2 latches here. See 2 arrows? That comes up. Then you can rinse this down here. This is your brush roller. So you can see it's cloth. And this one here just pulls right up. So back here, it says pull. This is your squeegee. So you want to rinse this off too. This is the inlet right here for the debris to be sucked up into. So you want to make sure that this is clear, and then this is clear. So just rinse it off. You may get clumps of hair and stuff on there. So, and it pushes on the same way. Clicks on. This one here, you get little gears here, little gear here. You know, just it's not crucial. I mean, just make sure they line up, and then this thing is straight up and down, and you just push it down. This thing here, what they want you to do is, it says, they don't want you to push in the middle, they just want you to push at the ends here to push it down. That's it. Okay, notice the big front end. When you use a foam roller, you can have a big front to pull in large debris. In a regular vacuum, since it's pulling from the sides and from the front, suction power, you gotta have a small opening because otherwise you lose all your vacuum. So that's the advantage of having this type of roller. And this type of roller will pick up debris a lot easier than a regular vacuum or a brush, because this thing conforms to the object and it actually pulls it in to the small chamber back here, which sucks it up. Unfortunately, that's also a disadvantage too, because it can't pull in debris from the side. It only pulls in whatever this roller can pull in. So let's give a quick demonstration in a second here. So it looks like we're running about 70 dBs. So 70 dBs, 69 dBs, which isn't bad. That's about speaking volume. Just for fun, let's take an EMF reading, 1.7. This is right at the motor, unless you're going to sit there and live right by the motor. So that's perfectly safe. Okay, so I fill this up with the solution of water. Kind of awkward because you got to fill it like this and then keep tilting it up. So, but you know, it's not that hard. Okay, so we're going to do the dry first here, because we have the ability to put it on vacuum only, so I'm going to put it on vacuum only. So we'll do the dry first. So push this back, turn it on, and put the water flow to vacuum only. Yeah, this is on our indoor mat, which is typical of, you know, you walking in from the outside. We got grass clippings, gravel, dirt, some seeds, and as expected, it picked up everything. So here we got dried on stain here with some grass and dirt. So we'll kick in the water flow now. And you can see the water coming out. So give it a couple of seconds for the roller to get full of water, and you can see it just right here. Let's see if it... Now this is not a scrubber, but look at, it's gone. And we're going to vacuum and wet mop at the same time. And this is a pretty tough stain because it's dried on for overnight. And what's good about this model is that I could shut off the water flow, and then I can use it as a vacuum to do a more thorough drying. Because otherwise the water keeps spraying because it's automatic feed. And that's the advantage of this over Crosswave HF3 is I can shut off the water flow and just have vacuum mode. It's going to run a couple seconds to get all the water out up into the dirty water tank. And as you can see, wow, perfectly dry. We'll do a paper towel test and it's actually perfectly dry. Barely any water, so it pretty much picked it up on the vacuum modes. Yay! Okay, so now we're going to do big chunk test. These things are on my other cordless, always you got to lift up the head to get it underneath. This one here, the brush, you just pick it up and push it in. Here we have some doggy mess there that we made. It's not real. Okay, so we'll turn this thing on. We're gonna do water flow. We're gonna put it on high. I can feel it going over the crumbs. It just picks it right up. All gone. That's a pretty good test, you know. Now we're vacuuming at the same time, so we got some crumbs here, grass. I mean, you can make a couple passes, but actually it looks like after the first pass it's done, I'll pick up this grass that's on the side. Some more grass here. And it's completely clean. And like before, I could put it just on vacuum mode, and then I could dry the floor too. So it's gonna run a couple seconds. Now let me just get a paper towel test again. This side, we did just a spray and vac. It's almost perfectly dry. This side, I ran it over with the vacuum again, and it's same, just very light. And that may be just a drop that's off the side. But as a whole, it's dry. So this is pretty impressive. I started out with the food tank, and we still got 3/4 of a tank left, so plenty of fluid. It's got a 30-minute run time, so that's enough to do at least my house. So okay, so I just want to point out that because there's a squeegee in the back here, sometimes you won't get all the crumbs up in one shot, so you're going to have to go over it a couple times, which is acceptable. Sometimes it gets behind the squeegee and doesn't pick up all the way. So basically, just come back up and pick it up again. So it's a squeegee that, you know, sometimes blocks it from going up into the machine. Just want to point that out. You know, sometimes you can leave crumbs behind going, what happened? It's basically the squeegee just kicking it out. So if you go at a slower pace, you probably won't have that problem as much. I would also like to point out a couple of observations I've seen while using this vacuum. It's self-propelled actually. Brush roller actually pulls it forward, so it's almost a one-finger operation. I'd also like to point out that it does not fold that flat, so that if you got low items that you want this vacuum to go under, it won't be able to do it. And the third thing is that the way it's designed, it won't be able to go against the baseboards. It gets within 3/4 of an inch of the baseboard. So any items that's within 3/4 of an inch is probably not going to be able to pick up because it can't pull from the sides. Okay, now we're going to show you how to clean this unit. So basically, don't pick it up on the handle. They got a carrying socket here, so you just pick it up like this. It's on its base. In the back, we have this strainer brush to clean out the unit, so you can pop that out. Brush pops out too. So. And then, what you want to do is empty this tank out first before we do the self-cleaning mode on this. So, as I showed you before, remove the filter. If it's dirty, you'll rinse it out. Once you rinse this thing out, you have to leave it out to dry for 24 hours. That's why we got the spare filter and spare brush. Make sure that's clean. So we're just going to pull this out. This is our debris here. Now, what you do is maybe you don't want to have all your stuff going down into the sink. So that's why they give you this little strainer thing here. So we just strain it. So grabbed all the big chunks, smaller stuff as you go down the drain. So this you empty down the garbage, then rinse it all off, let it air dry, and you're all set to go. Okay, so now that it's all cleaned out, then what we're going to do next is we're going to clean out the brush itself. So it's got a self-cleaning mode, so put the filter back in. So now we'll do the self-clean mode. We got to make sure that this is full, or whatever solution you're going to use. I think we probably have enough in there. This is your self-clean button up here. So you just press it on. Clean the brush. See the brush moving? So it's spraying the solution that's left in the tank across the brush to clean out the brush. And you can see it's sucking up the dirty water. It's pretty quick. It's over. Now, another thing that they don't really mention. Let me take this off the base. You have to wipe this down after you're through. But Bissell also has a solution called Fresh Start. And if you notice that your machine has a little bit of odor to it even after you clean it, 2 ounces of Fresh Start down into here, and then you've got your cleaning solution up top. So when you go into clean mode, it's going to pick up the Fresh Start solution here, which will basically disinfect your whole unit from the brush all the way up into the system. So that's only if you have issues with odor after you clean it. So maybe it's a good idea to have a bottle handy. Okay, so we're through cleaning this. Well, we have to empty this out. But now you still have to clean out the brush. You know, you got some debris stuck on it. So you got to take it to the laundry room or wherever, your sink or wherever you're going to wash it. But, you know, just lift it up, as I showed you before. We clean off the brush. Wipe this down in here. Make sure there's no clogs up in there. You can pull this out and rinse this out too. And that's it to it. Let this air dry because you don't want to use this to do on the vacuum only mode and things wet. And plus, you don't want to keep it in the machine because, you know, it may start to get mildew. That's why, thankfully, the 3548 gives you a spare brush and filter. So you could go on and continue your chores right away. Okay, so basically, same procedure. In retrospect, you probably only have to empty out this thing. Don't bother cleaning it out, just empty it out and then go into your clean mode. Okay, so just turn on your water and just rinse it out. Dry it off, paper dry it off. Make sure the brush back here is nice and pretty easy. I mean, it's still a lot of steps, I believe, you know, versus getting on your hands and knees with a paper towel. Brush, you can see it's pretty clean even from that stain, so it's clean. And just squeegee it out so you don't sit there and just let this thing dry overnight. And then the tank. Now, what I've used on our kitchen floor is we use the PETS solution. It's got a nice fresh smell to it, so once it's through, kitchen floors are very clean looking. It's got even a shiny look to it. So this thing air dry. Once it's dry, you know, you just use the vacuum again, or in our case, we got the spare parts, spare roller and filter, so we can start using it right away. So I hope you found this video informative. Please click the like button. When you have a chance, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.